Hello, my name is Joseph Carroll. I write under the pen name J.R. Carroll, and today we are going to do a review of Stephen King's Carrie. And before we jump into that, I just want to make sure that everyone likes, subscribes, and leave a comment because we are almost to our 100 subscriber goal, and I will be giving away an autographed poster of More Than a Vampire. All right, enough of that. So let's get into the review here. Um, I am kind of moving my way through Stephen King, and I just got back from vacation, so this was the last book I read. I was hoping to get this review in before I left, but couldn't get it done, so we are doing it now. And the previous book, I was kind of, let down. It was Elevation, which was Stephen King's one of his newer books from 2018. And this is his very first novel. I want to say this was in like 1973, somewhere in that neighborhood. Um, and it is no wonder um, that Stephen King took off so quickly because this is just an excellent book. Um, and in most of my reviews, I try not to spoil too much stuff. But if you want to go into it really blind, you know, I would. No, I can't timestamp this one here, but here in a couple minutes we'll get into some spoiler stuff. But just to give you kind of what the book is about, if you don't already know, there is a 16-year-old girl who is being picked on by her, um, you know, these girls and even some of the boys at her local high school. And none of them really know her much, but she has a really traumatic backstory as well as a traumatic home life. Her mother is a fanatic, religious fanatic woman who wants to keep Carrie away from all the bad things of the world. Boys, bad music, alcohol, dancing, just all the things. Um, but the way Stephen King is writing this book, um, it's almost um, that he writes it as though the events of the book have already happened, and throughout the book um, it mixes present time, what's happening with Carrie, um, with future people talking about the event and these investigators who are still looking into the event, and they do interviews with eyewitnesses, and and if you weren't a great writer, you could definitely pull people out of the story by doing it like that. Um, but King shows his writing prowess right off the bat. Um, and being a writer myself, um, this being his first published work, I don't know if this was the first thing full length thing he'd ever written, but it's very impressive. Um, he really makes you feel for Carrie, um, and just the way Stephen King is known for writing like coming of age things, but I mean, there's a little bit of that because we're gonna kind of roll into a little bit of spoilers here, but Carrie's been sheltered so much in her life, she doesn't know a lot of things, and one of the big scenes that always sticks with people, I know from the movie, which has been this book has been so many adaptations, at least like three or four. But there's a shower scene where she's in the shower and she's just kind of standing there off in her own world, at after gym class, and the gym teacher's trying to get everyone, get out, get out, get out, and Carrie's still just kind of standing there, and then all of a sudden, you know, she gets her period, and she doesn't know. Her mother has sheltered her so much, she doesn't know what's going on. She thinks she's dying or something, and then all the other girls, you know, are making fun of her and throwing, tampons and other things at her, and she actually kind of eventually gets saved by the gym teacher, though the gym teacher was kind of in on the whole thing at the beginning, till she realized she really doesn't know what's going on. Um, and so as this book progresses, you get to see more of how her mother treats her, and then you actually get to find a little bit of her backstory from these jumps in where people, after the fact, after the whole incident has happened, talk to her, talk to these cops and whatnot and detectives. You get to see a little bit of her backstory, and see the craziness that she's had to go through, which King does brilliantly. Um, and then as the story progresses, people, some people feel bad about what they did, and approach her, and she actually starts making friends a little bit, and starts pulling away from her mother. And then you get to see kind of how her mother reacts to that, and you get to learn a little bit of her mother's backstory as well, which is very interesting. And and you start seeing all these things come together, and knowing that an incident has already happened, and the way they refer to the incident, makes you kind of start thinking about things, what it could be, um, where is Carrie now, um, with the way they talk about her and the incident. And I mean, they tell you in these things that she has telekinesis, and you find out a little bit after a little bit. She starts showing these things, um, but she goes on, to be asked to go to the prom, by one of the most popular kids in the school, which happened to be a girl who got in trouble for picking on her, in the basically opening scene. And then they realize that, especially he realizes that, she's a great person. Um, but the way King shows the telekinesis, and you know show I don't want to, I'm not going to go into complete spoilers here, but the way he shows what can happen when someone's pushed too far, and you know and you know she has these powers and what she does with them. And then you kind of get to see kind of you know inside her heart and inside her soul, um, towards the end of the book. And I just love how he mixes everything together there at the end, with the powers and the relationships and the people from the future who know kind of what happened or investigating it. But this is one of my favorite Stephen King books. Even through the Dark Tower, this is would definitely be up there in the tier of some of those books. Um, but definitely, I would recommend reading this if you haven't. I mean, this is where it all started for Stephen King, and after reading it, I can see why he went on to be one of the greatest authors of all time. So, um, if you read the book and you liked it, you know, put down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you're currently reading, and make more suggestions. I'd love to hear from you guys. And until next time, have a great day.